Hello everyone, in this video, I'll be translating and summarizing the latest Urdu broadcast by Moeed Pirzada to make it accessible for our English-speaking audience. Let's go through the key developments and insights in Moeed Pirzada's words. If you look at the last 18 to 24 hours, the spokesperson of the Afghan Taliban, Zabihullah Mujahid, held a press conference and openly accused Pakistan's military of having certain elements and officers who want to destabilize Afghanistan. His statement clearly pointed towards foreign powers, specifically the United States. On the other hand, Pakistan's Inter-Services Public Relations, or ISPR, issued a very detailed press release explaining how Pakistan's army responded when the Afghan forces attacked them at night, and they admitted that 23 Pakistani army officers and soldiers were martyred. Meanwhile, on the Afghan side, they estimated that around 200 Afghan military personnel were neutralized. This shows a significant difference in terminology. One side says martyred, and the other says neutralized. This difference itself has significant implications. Apart from that, there is another development in KPK, or Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, where the assembly elections are now taking place. The decision regarding the elections for the position of chief minister has been made, and Mr. Sohail Afridi is one of the key candidates, with 3 other candidates also emerging. At the same time, Junaid Akbar Khan has unleashed a very intelligent political strategy there, which I will share with you in this video. A very interesting development has also occurred in Bangladesh, where the Bangladeshi military has arrested 15 army officers. These officers are accused by the International Crimes Tribunal of committing human rights abuses during Sheikh Hasina's government, including torture and responsibility for the disappearance of people. This is a bombshell for Pakistan's military, and I will share the details of that as well. Also, there's a major summit coming up on Monday in Egypt, at the Sharm el-Sheikh resort on the Red Sea, co-hosted by Egypt's President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi and US President Donald Trump. World leaders are attending this summit, and Pakistan's Prime Minister, Shahbaz Sharif, along with Finance Minister Ishaq Dar, will also be attending. Let's now look at each of these developments one by one. When Mujahid, the spokesperson for the Afghan government, held his press conference, he openly accused certain senior members of Pakistan's army of trying to destabilize Afghanistan, of course, on the behest of foreign powers, with the primary target being the United States. What does destabilization mean here? As I have mentioned in earlier blogs, when you speak to those who have served in the US State Department or retired CIA personnel who have dealt with Afghanistan, or the US military that has served in Afghanistan, many of them believe that the appetite in the US to intervene or do something major in Afghanistan is very low, based on 20 years of experience which shows Afghanistan to be an unmanageable mess. But what if there is a secret pact or understanding between Pakistan's military and CENTCOM that we don't know about? I can't comment on that. However, in this context, Mujahid's statement becomes quite significant. This analysis ties into the minority viewpoint that many people in Pakistan hold, which is that the whole Tehrik-e-Taliban Pakistan or TTP movement is highly suspicious and mysterious. No one can provide a clear explanation for it. Some people suspect that state institutions are using various factions to create a certain atmosphere for their own interests or strategic goals, especially in Afghanistan. This question has never been properly explained by the government or in the Pakistani media. There is no explanation for who these different groups are and what their real objectives are. All we know is that they demand Islamic Sharia, Islamic governance, and want to impose punishments. But who exactly are these leaders and what do they want? This whole issue remains shrouded in opacity. Many question whether the state itself is involved in this insurgency, and there is no transparency. Now, does this mean that the Afghan Taliban are angels? Absolutely not. The Afghan Taliban are also playing their own games. Their long-term goals are unclear, but one thing to note is that the Foreign Minister of Afghanistan, Amir Khan Muttaqi, is currently on a 7-day visit to Delhi, scheduled from 9th to 16th October. According to an Indian newspaper, one of his meetings is with India's National Security Advisor, Ajit Doval. What is the significance of this meeting between Amir Khan Muttaqi and Ajit Doval? Naturally, many questions arise in our minds regarding this. Meanwhile, ISPR, or Inter-Services Public Relations, has issued a statement about a border skirmish with Afghanistan, where 23 Pakistani soldiers were martyred, and nearly 30 others were injured. At the same time, their intelligence estimate is that around 200 Afghan military personnel were neutralized. There's an interesting difference here. When ISPR issues a statement about TTP, they use the term martyred for Pakistani soldiers, but when referring to Afghan military casualties, they use the term neutralized. Why? This is a very interesting and logical question. ISPR is trying to avoid using religious terminology like martyrdom for the Afghan soldiers, even though they too are Muslims. They can't declare Afghan soldiers as outside the fold of Islam because they would be unable to justify this on the battlefield. The term martyr invokes religious feelings, while the professional term used by militaries around the world is killed in action. This term is respected in the professional military community. When you look at the American military, they too mourn the loss of their soldiers, but they do not use the term martyrs in their official statements. They use the term killed in action or lost in action. Similarly, Pakistan's army cannot use the term martyrs for Afghan soldiers because it would contradict the basic tenets of Islam. This is a serious issue because there is a lack of clarity regarding the whole matter, especially with regards to the Taliban, the TTP and Afghanistan in general. Now, the tragedy is that we've struggled for 20 years with a genuine goal to not allow Afghanistan to have an unfriendly government towards Pakistan. A long time ago, General Aslam Beg or Mian Ghulam Hussain used the term strategic depth, which some people misunderstand. They think strategic depth means positioning tanks and military assets in Afghanistan. But, in my view, strategic depth is a political and psychological concept. If Afghanistan has a friendly government, with economic and trade relations, and if people from Peshawar and Pakistan are able to go to Afghanistan for business and investments, then that is the strategic depth Pakistan needs. Their hotels, their inns, their areas are filled with Pakistanis. They are coming to our hotels, they are coming to our hospitals, so our strategic depth increases if our enemies are not sitting there. And this strategic depth is not just limited to Afghanistan. If there is Indian investment in Pakistan, some Pakistani investment in India, and Indian companies have offices in Pakistan. If Pakistani motorways are used by Indian businesses and cargo to enter Afghanistan and reach Central Asia. If hotels in Lahore, Karachi and Islamabad are filled with Indian businessmen and traders. If the presence of Pakistanis is visible in Delhi, then India's strategic depth increases in the north. Pakistan's strategic depth increases towards the east. When someone says, "I don't know who kicked India out of Bangladesh," there was a loss in India's strategic depth in the east. This is the concept of strategic depth. The meaning of strategic depth is not just a physical space that we have to hide F-16s somewhere. This is why people get confused in this regard. Now, there is another irony in all this, which is happening right in front of us. There's a strange situation, and in less than 6 months, from April to October, Pakistan's current regime, which includes Sharif, Zardari and Asim, has opened 2 major fronts in the political struggle. Why are they doing this? Asma Jahangir, may she rest in peace, once said something that people believed in, although she herself didn't fully understand Pakistani politics. She used to criticize General Zia, Musharraf, and others, and often made statements against the army. She famously said, "These generals are fools." But there's a big structural flaw in this statement. The assumption in that statement is that when generals are in power, like General Zia, Musharraf, or Kayani, they struggle with questions like what will happen to Pakistan's future, its vision for the next 10 or 20 years. In that struggle they make mistakes, blunders, and they harm Pakistan. But in reality, the generals in power, such as General Asim, are engaged in political struggles for their own power and family, and if you look at it from that perspective, there's nothing foolish about it. They're playing the game very intelligently, and the crisis they have created has caused a sense of insecurity in the people, and their identity politics has been invoked. Identity politics plays a huge role. Hindu-Muslim, Pakistani-Indian, Afghan-Pakistani, Sunni-Shia. This has led to a gradual increase in their political space, and they've gained a lost space. Recently I met an educated Pakistani woman from Lahore. She said, "When I used to visit Lahore before May, people were very much against the army. But now, when I recently visited, the army has become quite popular because people believe the army has shown India its place. They believe the army has defended Pakistan." So, this is the political landscape. When you talk about strength, it doesn't mean just abusing someone. Strength means understanding things properly. When you understand things well, you can better defend your interests, both political and human rights. Now coming to Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, where the day is beginning on Monday, Junaid Akbar Khan is leading this entire initiative. However, the election of the chief minister will be of Suhail Afridi, and Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf has an overwhelming majority, with 92 members in the provincial assembly. 3 opposition candidates from the PPP, Jamaat-e-Islami, and PMLN have submitted their documents, and they've been approved. These are not very famous personalities. If things go smoothly, without interference from GHQ, it seems that Suhail Afridi will become the chief minister on Monday. Junaid Akbar Khan, whom I've never spoken to before, but have only seen on YouTube, is leading this political initiative in a very mature and responsible way. On Sunday, he held a meeting with the parliamentary committee in the KP Assembly chambers. After that, he took an interesting step. He is reaching out to other political parties and has said that since PTI has an overwhelming majority, the chief minister will be from their party, and it's understood that no unnecessary political confrontations should occur. The tradition in this province is that when the situation is like this, the chief minister should be elected unopposed. He has contacted the ANP leader, Iftikhar Hussain, who has said that after consulting the ANP leadership, they will get back to him. Iftikhar Hussain has also assured that the ANP will not allow any unconstitutional or non-political conspiracies to happen in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. Junaid Akbar Khan also reached out to Amir Muqam, the Minister for Kashmir Affairs and Gilgit-Baltistan, asking for unconditional support. This situation will develop in the coming days, and the outcome will be clear on Monday. In Bangladesh, an interesting situation has developed. The International Crimes Tribunal, or ICT, on Thursday indicted 25 Bangladeshi officers for crimes committed during Sheikh Hasina's government. They are accused of abducting people, illegally detaining them, torturing them, and committing other abuses. The army, meanwhile, confirmed that 15 of these officers were arrested, with 14 still serving in the army and one being a retired officer. The ICT's head has said that they should have been arrested by the police, not the army, and within 24 hours they should have been presented before the tribunal. The army's actions are being criticized, and this is becoming a developing story. This issue is causing considerable embarrassment for the Bangladeshi military, and it is likely that they will try to avoid punishment for these officers. This situation is also relevant to Pakistan, as many unresolved cases of crimes by military officers in Pakistan still remain. The investigations into the murders of Sharif and the attempted assassination of Imran Khan were delayed or obstructed. Similarly, the massacre of 141 people on November 26 remains unsolved. This trend reflects the difficulties Pakistan faces in addressing such issues and highlights the need for accountability within the military. Lastly, there's an upcoming summit in Egypt, co-hosted by Donald Trump, General Sisi and others. Global leaders, including the Prime Minister of Britain, Italy, France, Turkey and Jordan, will be attending. Pakistan's Prime Minister, Shahbaz Sharif, along with his ministers, will also attend the summit. It's unclear whether Pakistan's Army Chief, General Asim, will accompany him. The presence of the Army Chief at such a summit might raise concerns, and it will be interesting to see how this situation unfolds. That wraps up our translation of Moeed Pirzada's video. I hope this English version helped you understand his message better. Please like, share, and subscribe to Awami Lens to help our community grow. Don't forget to leave a comment below and let me know what you thought of this effort.